Yo, what is up? Welcome to Ninja Geek Games. Don't Starve was the latest game from Glass Cannon Unplugged that successfully funded on Kickstarter. Yes, I'm late to the party, but I did get a demo at Essen, and the late pledge is still open, and I'll put a link to it in the description. In Don't Starve, you represent a ragtag bunch of whimsical and odd characters in a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players that's objective-based and scenario-driven. During play, you'll need to explore locations within the biome, collect resources, and craft weird and wonderful gear, all in order to survive the harsh conditions, dangerous enemies, and meet your objectives. Each game has a unique map layout with requirements to fulfill. However, as this is just a prototype, I've only been provided with one scenario, but it should be enough to show you how the game works. Now, as well as taking actions to fight, trade and gather, you'll need to be prepared for some crisis management. This includes finding sources of light, eating food to sate your hunger, and keeping your sanity in check. Yes, this is a game of pure survival where you all need to work together and, well, don't starve. Before we move on, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you want to further support the channel, you can head over to the Ninja Geek Games coffee page and I'll add a link to the description. I've been provided with 4 characters and each is more peculiar than the last. Wendy has a dead sister that follows her around, you heard me right. Willow is a pyromaniac and Webber is some form of mutated spider, and Wilson can grow his beard only to cut it off to use as a resource. Gross. Your character board has 3 stats that are health, hunger and sanity. Certain items and food that you find and craft in the game can restore or prevent loss of these stats, but as they reduce, they'll also limit the number of focus tokens that refresh, and these are used for rerolls throughout play. Sanity is slightly different in that as this stat reduces, your character takes on shadow creature cards that resolve towards the end of the round. These will cause you to reduce stats or take damage from enemies, so you'll want to get rid of these as quickly as possible. Typical for Glass Cannon, we have areas to store oversized resource tokens, and each character comes with 1 or more unique ability cards to help you survive, where some have a track that's spent to activate certain effects. Each scenario in the game comes with a number of scenario cards that outline the specific objectives that you'll need to meet in order to progress. I don't want to spoil too much, but for this scenario you're looking to gain a number of items and resources to give to the Pig King for a party. To do this, you need to explore the land, forage and fight monsters, and this is carried out over a set of map tiles. The centre is the portal, and this connects you to your home base where you can build structures to help you at certain stages in the game. For instance, the fire pit could allow you to survive the cold at the end of the round if you're able to collect sticks and logs, but these structures generally cost essence, which is a limited resource, so use wisely. Other map tiles are face down, but as you move around the board, you flip these and these reveal terrain types that match one of the 4 location cards. These locations provide resources marked by an exploit track and monsters. Here you can interact with a location to explore again and change the location card, which is good to do if resources run low in that area. You can gather resources that require a dice roll, but at times you may have already had to craft an item like a hammer and axe to get these. There are literally hundreds of resources available to include flint, logs and hay or different food types, and most of these have 1 or more uses. They can be used to prevent loss of or increase your character stats, meet the needs of an objective, as well as crafting gear, or combine to provide cooked food, and I'll talk about this later. Sometimes you'll find a monster that you want to fight or one that wants to eat you, and you have to engage it in combat. You can also challenge any creatures on shadow cards that you own. If lucky, you may have crafted some gear that provides a combat value, so now would be a good time to use it, as this reduces the monster's combat value shown on the location cards. The remaining value is the number of dice that the monster rolls against you. You always roll your character die, and the idea is to have at least 1 success remaining after resolving all dice effects. Evade icons negate any successes that are rolled or gained from any crafted gear, but you generally gain a load of goodies for winning. Monsters also have a hit value, and this means you could lose quite a bit of health for each hit rolled, so you need to be very careful or make use of those focus tokens for rerolls, because this can be a slippery slope once injured. As we're all friends here, you can trade your equipment with other characters, but what happens if you don't have the stuff that you need at any given moment? Well, you can craft stuff into better stuff. This is a big part of the game, as spending items you craft means that you can generally have an advantage to do something else better. Don't Starve comes with this wicked awesome crafting book filled with multiple copies of cards. Some are weapons, some are tools, and others are items that help you survive the elements. However, As your items are crudely fashioned, they're liable to break during some action, so you may be wielding a mighty axe 1 minute that turns to dust the next. It's quite embarrassing. You can also cook to gain baked goods that have better abilities, as well as process resources into different types, so you can quite literally have an unlimited way to mix and match your items. As you're running around the map exploring tiles and locations, gaining resources and crafting, the group's round actions will diminish, reducing the time until the end of the round so you can't hang about. Whilst keeping a close eye on the mission objectives, you'll need to be prepped for the end of the round. At the end of the round, one of these daily need tiles will activate, and these affect the whole party. You'll need to ensure you have enough sources of light, from torches for example, and make use of other items and food to protect against hunger and going insane. If grouped together, players can share items to negate the effects, but if you can't meet the needs, you'll lose health, hunger and sanity, severely hampering the next round. Not only that, you'll then need to survive the weather, which is a bit Goldilocks, too hot or too cold. In this scenario, the group are affected by wetness and cold that can further reduce hunger and health by spoiling food and equipment, meaning some become unusable or break. What's more, as the game progresses, these effect stacks have become incredibly tough to survive at this stage. Afterwards, just when you think it's safe to start exploring, defeated monsters at locations respawn, but at least resources replenish, allowing you to go again. The game continues with players taking turns and then attempt to survive the daily needs and weather phases until you die or have fulfilled the requirements of the scenario cards. I've only given a brief overview of the game mechanics and encompassing Doom, as crafting, revealing locations and even processing resources to other types is an exciting part of the game that you need to explore on your own. Resource management is tough, as you'll need to craft better stuff later or store it for survival, so you really have to work together. When meeting the game objectives, some of you might be sent off to find firewood, others food, and some characters may even be trading with everyone to get improved gear. There's also one who always goes rogue and tries to defeat all the monsters they come across, who unfortunately tend to meet a grisly end. The character abilities are bizarre, but you'll need to make good use of them. Need materials to tie flint to a stick for an axe? No worries, use Wilson's facial hair, or follow the pyromaniac around for guaranteed warmth. Toasty. Don't Starve is already funded, but after watching this, you can head over to the late pledge if you enjoy the chaos the game brings. I'm also sure that fans of the IP will be able to jump straight into this, but as it was new to me, I needed a few playthroughs to fully understand the requirements of the game. Thank you for watching. I hope this video provided a good overview of Don't Starve. If you would like to support the channel, then feel free to buy a coffee on the Ninja Geek page link in the description, where you can also become a member for early access to upcoming vids. This is Ninja Geek Games. Cheers.